Hello fellow cruisers, Jeff here, and what in the world is happening? I have 4 cruise news stories for you, and they're all good news. I don't think that's ever happened before. So, to keep my negative news streak alive, the final story has sort of a negative twist to it. First of all, on a personal note, the Backwards Tourist channel welcomed subscriber number 3,000 yesterday, so let me give a welcome to all of the new subscribers and a big thank you to everyone who's been with me for a while. It's good to have you all along. I think that one of those subscribers is a psychic. Gerald has commented on several of my cruise videos, and just a few days ago, he asked me if I knew if there were any plans for any of the Princess Sphere-class ships to sail from the West Coast. I wrote back and I said that I hadn't heard of anything. Well, Gerald, you must have a crystal ball, because breaking news says that the Star Princess is going to be sailing to Alaska in 2026. The Star is still under construction, and you'll remember that the Star was scheduled to start sailing in the Mediterranean in late July of 2025, but they reassessed how much time it's going to take to finish her, so they moved back her sailing date until late September of 2025. After spending just a few weeks in the Mediterranean, she's going to be sailing to Fort Lauderdale for the Caribbean season. Now, everybody, including myself, was sure that she was then going to go back to the Mediterranean for the summer, but no! Word is that the Star is going to be cruising Alaska in 2026. Wow, this is going to be huge. The Star is going to be less than a year old, but have plenty of sailings to get the bugs worked out. Plus, to get from the Caribbean to Alaska, the Star has to go through the Panama Canal. Wouldn't that be a great itinerary to be on? So everyone give it up for Gerald, the king of predictions. And Gerald, if you have any lottery numbers you'd like to share with me, I'll be listening. Positive story number 2. Royal Caribbean has broken ground on their new resort area in Nassau. The Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is expected to open to guests next year. It's going to have 3 pools, swim-up bars, dining venues, a children's water play area, shopping, music, and a whole lot more. This project covers 17 acres and is expected to be using 100% renewable energy by 2030. It sounds pretty awesome. So we've talked about good news with Princess and Royal Caribbean. Let's spread the good news around with this story coming from MSC. And believe me, this really is a fantastic story. But hey, before I get into it though, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Now this is amazing news. The MSC Group, MSC Foundation, and Mercy Ships International are partnering to build a cutting-edge hospital ship that's going to be deployed in sub-Saharan Africa to provide healthcare access and training. This new ship is going to have room for 600 crew members and guests, plus 6 operating theaters, a lab, and clinical space. This is the second ship that Mercy Ships and MSC Group have developed. The first one was in 2022, and it should also be noted that MSC Group has been working with Mercy Ships in other capacities for over a decade. So good on you, MSC. You have my respect. Time for our final feel-good story that has a bit of a negative twist at the end. This past Sunday, April 21st, the Carnival Paradise rescued 27 refugees from Cuba who were in a small wooden boat that was in poor condition. The refugees were signaling for help, and it was found that the boat was overcrowded and not carrying adequate supplies. The people were taken on board, given food and water, and those who needed medical aid were treated. The proper authorities were then notified. And this isn't the first time the Carnival Paradise has done this. In 2019, they rescued a sailor whose boat was taking on water, and in the summer of 2022, they made not 1 but 2 rescues, one involving 20 people in a rowboat, and the other was 6 people in a raft. So that's the good news. Aside from being a fun ship, the Carnival Paradise is also a lifesaver. But here's the negative twist I told you about. John Heid, who's the Carnival Cruise Line brand ambassador, told this story on his Facebook page, and it got a lot of positive comments. But there was also a surprising number of negative comments. People who were saying that the refugees should not have been taken on board or even assisted. Some commenters expressed the thought that the refugees knew the risks they were getting into and they should deal with the consequences. You know, it's a shame that John had to actually go back on Facebook and defend the act of saving 27 lives, but he did. And he explained that not only is assisting someone in distress at sea the morally right thing to do, but it's also maritime law. But I guess that's all a part of the internet, isn't it? There are people who feel obligated to take something good and twist it into something negative. Well, that's all the cruise news I have for you today. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeff, and I hope I get to meet you on a future cruise.